Well, welcome back to Middle Age Moto. It's been a couple weeks and it's good to be back. I've been without my bike, so let's catch up a bit here. So after my last video, drove home, and when I got gas, I kind of smelt oil. I smelled some oil burning, but I looked around the bike and I really couldn't find anything. And all over the internet, you know, well, I should say all over the internet, in the forums, but you know, you got to take forums with a grain of salt, because out of the thousands and thousands of bikes sold, and this red engine is derived from the Panigale, so I mean, it's even more than just the going on 3 years that this bike has been in existence. This engine's been out for quite some time. There's been a lot of the guys with Streetfighters having issues with the water pump. Don't know the logistics behind it. It ends up leaking oil from the pump. Maybe where it attaches to the engine, that's what I'm assuming. One guy even had it where it leaked so bad it leaked down and got all over his back tire, and he had to have his bike towed. So I've periodically checked and inspected. It happens, the oil consumption is right in between the V of the engines, and I've checked periodically, and it just, you know, one morning thumbing around Facebook, and there's another guy on there that says, well, it looks like it's my turn. You know, got a little picture of it, you know, shining a light in there, oil. I'm like, wow. So I said, you know, it's been a little bit since I've checked mine, let me go check mine. So I went out and I checked mine, and there was a little oil in there. Nothing compared to what these guys were having, but there was a little bit of oil in there. So automatically my assumption was, boom, I don't want to get caught. I have to have the bike towed, have it leak, have it be wrecked because it gets on the back tire. Let's nip this in the bud. I'm going to get this to the dealer. Well, I happened to be off the next day from work. I took a personal day just to, you know, unwind and catch up, regroup, let's say. So I made the trek to my dealer. For anyone that's watching this video as their first video, my dealer's about an hour and a half away, give or take. Okay, good dealer, real good dealer. The guys were great there. You know, I got a little cantankerous maybe in the past because of how long, you know, it takes to do stuff sometimes, but you know, you got to remember they're dealing with, you know, with the manufacturers and now the pandemic. So I had no idea when I would see my bike again. So I bring my bike up. I talk to my service writer that I've worked with on everything. I tell him about the leak, and then I figure while I'm there, I got 1,800 miles on the bike. I said I was going to have about 2,000, take it up and let them go through the bike, because I performed my first service. So I went up there and you know, decided go ahead and just do the first service, and then check out if you can find where the oil's coming from. It wasn't a lot, it was very, very little, but enough to get on the tip of your finger, you know, that type of thing. And it was fresh, clean oil, so I wasn't really sure what the deal was. So he prints out my bill, the potential bill, and there's a diagnostic fee for the oil that if it's something leaking, of course it'd be covered under warranty. So I saw it for sure. I said, oh, everything will be great. And then I looked down at the price of the service on the V4 engine, and then I about crapped my pants. It was 500 and change just for the service, and I was like, I even questioned him, because my Monster was like 400 bucks, 380, something like that. And he's like, yeah, it's a big service. And I was like, holy crap. Now I know they go through, they clean your chain, adjust your chain, and they go through every nut and bolt on the bike, and you know, check fluids and all that kind of stuff, and you know, the whole thing there. But I was like, I was in shock. So I thought for sure. So he gives me the thing, and I dropped it off, and he said, I'll hopefully sooner than this, but this is the day that I'll be reaching out to you, hopefully with the bike done. And it was like 14 or 15 days later, and I was like, wow. And he said, now you got to sign this too, because getting parts from Ducati has been tough. But one thing he actually told me, my dealer is also a Yamaha dealer amongst others, and the Yamaha factory is actually, I'm in Alabama, is in Georgia, or there is a parts warehouse in Georgia, so they're usually real quick. And they are so hurting for staff right now that I don't remember what part, but it was some sensor that they needed for a bike, and they were told it would be 4 weeks before it would ship. So, you know, I know we all hammer our dealers, but we got to keep in mind that they are, you know, they're struggling too. Plus, it's the end of the year in Alabama where everybody takes their ski-doos or their watercraft in for service to get ready for the next, get them prepped up for the next season, because they don't need them right now. So they're extra busy. They have plenty of techs, the whole 9 yards. They always do great work. But about 5 days in, Jeff calls me and says, hey, I got a question for you. He said, you know, was there any oil on the floor? Was it leaking on the floor or anything like that? And I was like, no, nothing on the floor. And I said, it's just that little tiny bit that's up in there. I just figured. So they opened a case with Ducati. They called the rep to try to see. They showed them how to test and see if the water pump was a problem. There, I guess, was another gasket up in there that could be a problem. He checked both of those. Nothing. They cleaned it out. They called me and told me they were going to put some miles on the bike and they were going to rev it up a little bit, which they normally ride them just to check it out, which is fine. These guys are all bike owners themselves. And they found nothing. So it's still a mystery. You know, I've had with performance engines in cars, you know, until everything heats up and sets, you know, I've had, you know, minor oil leaks, you know, valve cover leaks, maybe a little bit of intake, something like that. It's still rare even with that, but you know, it's always, you know, if it's something minute, it's always seemed to go away after an engine rebuild. You know, timing chain cover, you know, different stuff like that. So I don't know if it was something like that you know, it was something that had to settle in, because the bike only has 1,800 miles on it. Maybe the oil's been in there for longer. I'm surprised it didn't burn off, but you know, I don't know. So at this point, I'm going to keep an eye on it and keep checking it. And I picked the bike up this morning, and I'm back on it, ready to roll. So I'm excited to be back. I figured I'd breathe that in. Oh, just in case anybody's wondering, the total bill today with the diagnosis for Nowhere Land and then the service was $694. And you know, Jeff and I were laughing. I said, anything with a B, any motorcycle with a B in front of the name or a D in front of the name, sorry, I had to do that. Any motorcycle with a D in front of the name or a B in front of the name turns into an expensive proposition. I gotta tighten these mirrors up. I wish they would have seen that when they were riding it. I keep forgetting to tighten them up. They're really easy. But with that, I'm gonna say goodbye. I am still working on, and I'm kind of off and on the fence. Still working on who is Middle Age Moto. To be honest with you, this video may come out after I've posted the first one, so just disregard the statement. But it seems kind of windy, and I'm like, who the hell's going to want to hear this? But, you know, again, I do this for my enjoyment. It was nice to reminisce and go down and walk through my life. It's been a long time since I've physically tried to chronologically do that. I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff, but I tried to keep it as short as possible by not giving too many detail. So with that said, I will talk to you later, and thanks for stopping in, and hope you have a wonderful weekend.